Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Nameless Packers Pod. Second episode. We promised to be back in a week, and here we are. We got a lot to talk about. Week one is in the books. Some really exciting stuff, some really unexpectedly bad stuff. We're going to have to go over all of that. In the meantime, we are going to also talk about the Packers' big win against the Chicago Bears. Got a chef's kiss for you because now there are plays to be talked about, which is freaking fantastic. I'm your host, Brady Augustine, by the way. I almost forgot to introduce myself. Joined, as always, with Aaron Knapp. How are you doing today?
I am fantastic.
Fantastic. Not even mixed after what happened Monday night.
Don't get me started. I'll cry.
I think I might have to do that then.
I might cry.
I mean, so you have this fantastic week one, especially if you're a Packers fan. Like, not so much if you're a Bengals fan. We know all about that.
Or a Steelers fan.
Steelers fan, yeah. Not going to name any names or anything, but Green Bay over Chicago 38-20. You're happy about that. But Packers fans, many of whom are still, regardless of how things went down, when it comes down to it, going to be Aaron Rodgers fans to some extent. Some are going to watch the Jets game, some aren't going to care. Either way, his jersey is going to get retired at Lambeau Field. And then 4 plays in, you saw what happened. You were watching the game, I presume. How did you feel? What happened?
Well, my dad fell asleep within the first,
He missed the historic moment.
It was historic.
Should have missed the rest of the game, but.
It was a rough game. It was a really rough game, and my thoughts were in those 4 snaps, his offensive line is not protecting him. And I know that a lot of conversation has been going on about the turf. Mm-hmm. David came out and was yelling about it on Twitter, which I understand.
Yeah, I'm going to be an advocate of that, I think. But
yeah, well,
but that's
I
not...
am too.
Yeah.
Because if you look at the way his foot planted, which caused his Achilles to tear, you can make that argument that if it was grass, there would be a divot. Your foot would.
There's give.
There's give
right.
there. There's not. You wouldn't have that pressure. Whereas his foot was solid on that turf and could not move.
And so his Achilles did. I mean that was a gunshot. Yeah.
But I also make the argument that in those 4 snaps he was running for his life.
It did not 1,000% agree with that. How many quarterbacks is that line going to get killed at this point?
It came out later. Maybe on Tuesday, that Aaron was not happy with the play that was specifically called when he did get injured. He wasn't happy. He didn't want to run that play, and he wasn't comfortable in it. And some people are blaming him and saying, you got to get rid of the ball quicker. You can't hold on to it. But
That's Aaron Rodgers.
He wanted some time, and he can do it. He can get rid of it quickly. I mean, he's Aaron Rodgers, but he wanted to have some time, and he just his O-line did not protect him.
Yeah, and I mean, the Buffalo Bills, they got a good defense, but they're no Jets deep D-line that is just a monster out there. But they practiced against him. So to me, it was like, how could it be overlooked in the process of getting a trade done that there wasn't? I mean, they brought in Randall Cobb for him. He obviously had the influence that they missed either organizationally or Aaron Rodgers didn't bring it up to make sure that he's protected.
Yeah.
Because this was a disaster waiting to happen. I don't think anybody expected it to happen 4 snaps in, but you're absolutely right.
No. Yeah. It's devastating. I mean, I'm heartbroken for him. It's really, really sad. And I am somebody who really was excited for this Jets season. I mean, I watched Hard Knocks like a lot of the country did, and I was very, very excited to see how far they could get with Aaron. And I'm very sad that it seems, and I watched him last year. I watched the entire season last year. I watched Zach Wilson come in. I watched him get benched. I watched Mike White come in and take his place. And it was a really sad, hard season for Jets fans. And I am nowhere near in the place of devastation that Jets fans are in. I understand that, but
that's rough. When we've been there as Packer fans, Aaron Rodgers going down a couple times with a collarbone, and this one is just way worse. This is far and away the worst. But yeah, I don't know that people realize how much of a Zach Wilson fan you are, and I'm kind of surprised to hear you were sad that Aaron went out. He's really your guy. Weren't you turning cartwheels or nothing? That wasn't the way it went down.
I was not.
You were not.
I am not a Zach Wilson fan. My mom actually I watched it with my parents, the game on Monday, and my mom just kept making comments. He just looks so young. He looks like he's in high school. He looks like a baby. And I was like, Mom, he's 24.
Yeah.
He's 24 years old.
They showed him on the sidelines. I was like, yeah, I don't know, maybe 7th, 8th grade, you know?
Maybe with a stupid Karate Kid bandana
The
that he
Karate
wears
Kid.
and he refuses to
Oh,
not
man.
wear.
I would so prank him with like that black star thing on it one day when he went to pull it on. But yeah, I mean, a great week of football. Obviously, we'll talk about the Packers game. That was great. And then to have that, it just really cast a pall on the whole week, as the Monday night football game.
It felt like it kind of deflated the week for
And-
me. And I'm not going to let it deflate my season, but I was very, very sad
Yeah.
on Monday night, but also very, very happy because
All right.
I was going
Gonna
to wait.
pat yourself on the back
I was
right
going to
now.
wait
Yeah,
until we
that's all
talk
right.
about
Yeah,
money lines.
go
but,
for it.
I won my parlay on Monday,
Yeah.
and I doubled my money.
All right. Well, and how did it happen? Because this was pretty. I mean, Aaron Rodgers goes out of this game,
know.
and you couldn't have been feeling good.
I sweated it out because I had my parlay was pretty simple. It was Stephon Diggs anytime touchdown and Garrett Wilson anytime touchdown. And Stephon Diggs, just briefly, I don't know that Allen and Diggs are boys anymore. I mean, last year they were boys.
Yeah.
And
Diggs was trying to pump him up on the sidelines, but it's good looking forced now.
It's looking really
Like, Allen's
forced.
was bad. I mean, he won that game for the Jets.
He was so bad. And I took Stephon Diggs because last year he was Allen's guy. I mean, Allen threw to Stephon all the time. And then, 2 quarters in, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to win this with
Yeah.
Stephon because Allen was throwing to everybody else and just, it was all over the place. Well,
Yeah, and then you have no Aaron Rodgers. That can't make you feel
yeah,
good
so
on
Diggs
those.
got it. And then the only reason I took Garrett Wilson is because in preseason he was Aaron Rodgers' guy. Everybody knew that he was Aaron Rodgers' guy. So as soon as Rodgers went out, I was like, oh man, I'm probably not going to win this. And that beautiful catch that Garrett Wilson made in the end
Yeah.
zone. I mean, he's special. He's something special.
Yeah, that was amazing. I mean, that was one for the ages to me. I mean, you don't see much of that. You don't see either the ball is bobbled or it's dropped.
Right.
And the reaction to that, usually your reaction is an overreaction and you swap the ball away or you snap too early. And
Yeah.
that doesn't happen too often.
I'm
So
excited
I'm happy
to
for
watch
you
it.
on that. I'm
Thank
happy
you.
for you on that.
Thank you.
You're buying lunch, by the way. So.
I will.
Okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
But yeah, cast a poll. I just want to tell my little story because I went up on Tuesday, just a couple days. We're recording not Wednesday, but Thursday this time around. And I'm just looking through some old clothes and stuff, and I wanted to highlight this because I don't usually wear this shirt. I found my Aaron freaking Rodgers jersey. Some of you will remember this from a couple of years ago. And Aaron Rodgers came into a press conference with a Mark freaking Eaton shirt that was this exact same color scheme, which is why it's blue and yellow, and it just doesn't make any sense. And I looked at that, and I thought to myself, gosh, I can't believe I found that. It's ironic, number one. And I thought, well, it's a little tattered. It's older for sure. It's getting closer to retirement all the time. And guess what? It's even got a tear. So I'm wearing it for one last time. And then if Aaron Rodgers actually does come back, because I'm 100%, I had somebody on the page like actually insinuate that Aaron Rodgers did this on purpose to sabotage the Packers, which I think is just the dumbest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard. And I don't even know how to not put up with that, right? It's so bad. But it's ready for retirement because he's not with us anymore. But if Aaron Rodgers does come back to the Jets, I'm going to wear it one more time. I think it's totally appropriate. And I think from both of us, probably we can say, get well soon, Aaron.
Absolutely.
I think the league is just better with him in it, regardless of where he's playing. And hopefully he can get back. This is a huge injury. He turns 40 this year. This could be a career ender, honestly.
Could
it
be.
really could.
He could decide to retire.
But you knew his quote. What did he say?
It's always darkest before the dawn, but he shall rise again.
So I hope he does. I really do. I think the league's better with him. So we had some, press conferences where a lot of coach speak, and a lot, of course, we're going to talk about the injury report centered around the injuries and status of players coming into the Atlanta Falcons game. But I do want to highlight one, and this is from a second-year player, Devontae Wyatt. You know, he was our first-round draft choice, along with Quay Walker, who we'll talk about later, 2 years ago. And it was very telling to me that he was asked about Justin Fields, and he said, basically, we as a defense, he said, we knew all we had to do was make him play quarterback. That was very telling. Now, I will, you know, a lot of people, and you got to give Justin, he had 1,100 yards rushing last season. But the big knock has been, you know, him playing the quarterback position from that spot. And there are 2 weeks a year where Packer fans listen to Bears podcasts, and this was one of those weeks. However, I think it needs to be mentioned, and you may or may not be aware of this, but there's a whole lot of Luke Getsy hate out there, too. You probably caught some of that, maybe, maybe not. But Luke Getsy came from the Packers and is now their offensive coordinator. And there's a lot of heat on him because he did not have Fields driving the ball down the field. In my mind, they telegraphed their entire game plan during the preseason with that, especially that first preseason game. Throw a quick out, you're looking for short pass, long run. And that's exactly what we did. And the Packers, to a man, were ready for that. Joe Barry even talked about that. And I do have to give him credit for doing that. But at any rate, Devontae Wyatt, a very young player, but he's apparently got a little moxie. So all we had to do was make him play quarterback. All right. I don't think we have a whole lot of players in social media. I did catch some social media clips that I thought were interesting, but mainly the Aaron Rodgers quote to me was the most interesting one this week. But all right. So at this point, we do want to give out our secret word of the day. I think this is an appropriate one because what it is if you line up all the secret words for each of our podcasts during the season, you are going to be entered to win automatically and for free a big bunch of prizes. We got a watch here. We got a Packers watch. We've got some T-shirts. We've got some Pro Shop gift cards we'll give away. So make sure you know the secret word, which this week is
Pick six.
I think that's appropriate.
I think it is too.
Yeah. So anyway, Packers versus the Bears. Let's go ahead and recap that a little bit. What did you see in that game? And one of the things I know you talked about before was you weren't quite convinced about Jordan Love. And did this game sort of move you in one direction?
It absolutely moved me in a direction. I thought it would. I was hopeful it would. I was really happy with the way that Love played. He wasn't perfect, but we're not looking for perfection, especially week one from him. I thought his passing was good. I mean, he just looked good. And I mean, LaFleur, I understand saying what he says in preseason in his press conferences. It is about more than one guy, and it really is about more than one guy.
The O-line was great too.
The entire team played great. I thought. Is it that the Bears just suck, or is Jordan Love good? I think
you know what I'm going to say.
I think we'll see. You know, we'll talk a little bit more about the Atlanta game coming up, but I think that we'll really get to see him tested this week. And I'm very, very excited about it. But overall, I really, really liked the fact that the O-line protected him so well that he was able to get that third and fourth.
Yeah, perfect passer rating on third and fourth down.
Yeah. And he had time. They gave him time. He had plenty of time. He wasn't under a lot of pressure. And, you know, we'll see as the season goes when we do play some tougher opponents. And he does have that pressure on him, how he plays. But I was very pleased with how poised he looked. Even as we got to the end, it was just, he never really seemed to panic. And he was very cool under pressure. I liked it.
Yeah, that makes me think of the dropped snap, which I know Pro Football Focus put on him. Sometimes that's the center, sometimes it's the exchange itself, sometimes it's the quarterback. I didn't get a chance to review that very close. I don't care. It bounced to him, so I mean that's why the ball is shaped the way it is, because it's not necessarily going to do that again, but it did. And he recovers, turns around. He's got Luke Musgrave just turned loose on a beautiful like fade and break, get lost in the shuffle and then break. And he hit him. Luke Musgrave falling down a couple times in this game.
Getting his sea legs still.
Yeah, for sure.
Still getting his sea legs.
Still getting his sea legs. Somebody messaged or mentioned on the comments in the Daily Show, I want an expert to get in and measure his shoe size, because he's weird. Shoe size must be too big or something out there, catching a toe or something. But yeah, Turf Monster got him, but I thought Jordan Love was good as well. And better than expected. And I think, you and I, most people were predicting a very low scoring affair. And I think we were one of the few that said, nah, not so fast. Now, dropping a 40 burger, I don't think anyone saw this coming. Quay Walker's pick six, obviously 6 of that, 7 of that. But yeah, really good. I'll comment maybe on the defense, because this is a defense that on paper last year Green Bay was very excited about, and they just really didn't come through. They were lackluster. We were playing a lot of off coverage, and they were paper tigers last year. They looked great on paper and just disappointed all season long. Came on strong at the end, I should say. The last 4 games were pretty good. And doing that without Rashawn Gary for half a season, of course. But getting him back, which was a surprise, getting Rashawn Gary back this soon, you really felt like, and I think I made the comment, I'm expecting, Justin Fields to be running for his life, which, can be very dangerous. It can be a dangerous situation, but they bottled him up to the tune of 49 yards, 59 yards, whatever it was. And the defensive effort in this, we had 12 players with pressures in this game, which is more than a side of defense worth of pressures. And Rashawn Gary, coach, and this is going back to the press conferences, but Coach LaFleur said, by their count, in 10 pass rushing efforts, he had 7 pressures, which for a pass rusher, if you're at 10%, that's a really good number. That's 70%. It was just insane. So they came out as advertised, and that to me was kind of important, because this year the Bears had been working on their O-line. So that's probably part of the reason there's some consternation in Bears Nation right now as to whether that'll get better. Do you have a chef's kiss in this game? What is I just loved it. It was so great.
It's got to be Quay Walker's pick 6, right? I mean, come on.
Oh, I will chef's kiss that.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
What did you think? He grabs the ball. You're expecting him, right? He's just going to kind of go down like a linebacker should.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you expect.
Yeah. Bounces off a guy. He took a big hit on a guy that didn't wrap, and then he's just like, no, that's all right. I'll do it. Now, of course, we'll talk later. We could probably talk now. We're basically on the injury report. He got clocked by what looked like an O-lineman. It was a 300-pound dude. It looked like to me. I didn't check to see who it was. In concussion protocol, I think that's a big one. Him along with Aaron Jones in this game, and then you're adding that to Christian Watson, who I want to talk about for just a minute. Let's get your thoughts first on, Quay Walker. He's in protocol,
yeah,
and Aaron Jones, and what is the importance of that going into that?
How long is concussion protocol?
Well, it's not timed. You just have to hit certain benchmarks. So he's going to have to be headache-free for a certain number of days. And I'm going back a couple years when I looked at this. I mentioned this earlier. I should have checked it again. But yeah, he has to hit certain benchmarks, and it's basically black and white. If he hits them, he plays. If he doesn't, he's just disallowed from playing. So
we're going to want him this weekend.
Yeah, we're going to want him with
bad.
that running game.
Yeah.
John Robinson is a beast.
A beast.
Yeah, he's a beast.
Aaron Jones. We knew going into this week that we were going to be relying on Jones and Dillon a lot, just because we didn't know if Watson was going to play. We didn't even know if Dobbs was going to play.
Right. Talked about that a lot.
Dobbs ended up playing fantastic, got us 2 touchdowns. If he didn't play, it brings into question, would it have been a closer game? Would it have been a 24-20 game?
Maybe that pick 6 was the difference in the game if Dobbs doesn't play in that one, and you could go through the numbers with that. But yeah, it's a good point for sure.
So we're looking ahead at the injury report again this week. It's Thursday. They're never going to tell us anything till Sunday.
And I didn't even bring the list over.
It sounds like Watson will probably be out, you think, for another week?
I can comment on that if you don't mind. And I'm going to go back to the locker room interview with him. And this is, again, it's very interesting because, those of you that listened last week or support what I do know that I blew my calf out. This is the first time I've ever had that type of an injury. I've cramped it before. Watson's injury is the same injury on one of his 3 hamstring muscles. We don't know which one. But he made a very telling, in light of, this just happened a couple weeks ago. This is literally 2 weeks before the season opener, Detroit Lions Chiefs game. And Watson said, he made the comment, I have a hamstring strain. And I don't know about you, but strain always to me sounds like such a minor thing. Like sounds like such a minor injury. It is not. Let me just tell you, I am still waiting for swelling to go down. My leg, it has a yellow sock all the way down from my calf. And I'm still not even really exercising that. And then after that, he said, so this injury, people don't come back from very fast. Never in a million years before I had this happen would I have understood what he meant when he said that. And I do not expect Christian Watson to play. Again, he's going to have so much better treatment. You know, I understand that. He's going to have hot, cold, and the whole list is there. We don't need to go through the whole protocol of how to rehab it. But I would be expecting him not to play just a couple weeks after he was held up during practice. So that comment to me was very telling and meant an entirely different thing in terms of you don't just come back from this. So there's sometimes an audible pop with this. So you can imagine there's bleeding, internal bleeding that happens. And these are things, the word strain just does not bring that to mind to me, but it is a very serious thing and important that he gets it right before he comes back.
What about Dobbs? Did you hear anything from him this week? Because he looked good.
Yeah, Dobbs was limited. No, they may have held Dobbs out, but he was either limited or they held him out. That's more of a precautionary thing. Yeah. So he apparently had just kind of a little, I don't ever remember him using the term strain. And there are degrees of it too, you know. So we don't know what either Dobbs or Christian Watson's are. But it looks like he will be a go. I would think he will play unless he has a setback, which these injuries, it's easy to do that too. That's why Christian's going to have to be careful.
Yeah.
But, you know, that factors into it. You know, if you're, there's a great exercise that one of the podcasts did, and I'll just ask you, if you had to choose one or the other, and you could only get either Quay Walker or Aaron Jones back, who do you pick?
Oh, God. For this week?
For the Atlanta Falcon game. Quay?
Yeah,
all right.
I want him.
You just want him to get another pick six, and then he's a point-scoring
he's
inside linebacker.
Point-scoring inside linebacker, but no, and we can go into that, you know, more once we talk about the Atlanta game. But I just think that we need him for this week. I think we're going to have to stop the run, and I think that he is going to be a key player for us if we can get him back.
And he was wearing the green dot, which means, you know, he's got the communication device in his helmet. Inside linebacker, you know, if he's not there, that's a place where, although I'm very, very happy Devondre Campbell is available, but when we had one inside linebacker on the field, that was Quay Walker, not Devondre Campbell this time around, which is a change in a little bit. For me, it's going to be, and it's going to go into my chef's kiss, it's going to be Aaron Jones, because, and Greg Olson and Kevin, whoever was Burkhart was talking about this, that he is just such a dynamo. When he's on the field, the offense just feels it. There's a synergy when he's there, and then singled up the way that he got on that choice route, and with you know, Jordan Love making a good choice, and I would say a relatively easy pass. He is just absolutely dynamite. And that hamstring, I hate seeing these hammies, and I think I'm a little jaded with my own little injury here, but I would take Aaron Jones, and partly that might be because he's my chef's kiss, and that chef's kiss is not either of the two long runs, not the long touchdown when he pulled up the hammy. A.J. Dillon, I don't know what to do with A.J. Dillon. We've been talking about what the rotation should be. I think there's an opportunity for him to have a bounce-back game. We'll talk about that against Atlanta. But both Luke Musgrave and A.J. Dillon, Matt LaFleur said this week in a press conference, he has signed them up for ballet lessons. Because Luke Musgrave can't turn around without falling down, and A.J. Dillon can't take a smack to the ankle without falling down at 250 pounds running a 4.5. He goes in twice from like the 1 yard line in the red zone. This is the A.J. Dillon time. This is the A.J. Dillon has to be in there for this kind of Packer talk. I've been saying for a while, listen, Aaron Jones is very good in the red zone. Dillon makes 2 attempts, gains a half of a yard, and on third down they put in Aaron Jones. And there was a fantastic Zach Tom down block on that. I will admit that much. But Aaron Jones' vision, and he walks into the end zone. And it was money to me. And it was just the thing that he brings. Because Jonesy, we're always trying to protect him because he's a smaller back. And, you know, he can't do this and he can't do that. And then who's the one that gets it done in the red zone? I loved it.
Yeah.
All
yeah,
right.
I agree. I mean, they were talking about, he didn't play much. I mean, Aaron Jones started the first quarter for us, and then he just kind of disappeared for the rest of the first half. And those were the big questions going into halftime for LaFleur was, what's up with Jones?
Yeah.
Why are you not playing him? And then he gets him in the third quarter, and he's like, we're just going to try to get him cooking. And he just gets cooking.
Yeah. Yeah, he made a delicious meal out there.
He did.
So yeah, good to see. Hopefully he'll be back. I think they're just kind of protecting him. We like to do a segment called "Keep Your Enemies Close," and I don't think we need to go through all the scores. I mean, everybody knows the season kicked off with Detroit. That ended up being a really good game.
What a surprise.
I know, and you and I said Detroit has a fighter's chance with no Chris Jones, and
Yeah.
then Kelsey being hurt, and lo and behold, the Detroit Lions win by 1 point, 21-20. In a game, admittedly, where there's no Chris Jones, no Travis Kelsey, and Patrick Mahomes throws his third pick six of his entire career. But makes a difference in the North. Now, with the Packers win over the Bears, Vikings go down to the Buccaneers. That really kind of opens a door for us. And obviously, we got to travel. I think this is going to be a tougher challenge. But the Packers with an opportunity now, and I don't know off the top of my head who the Lions play this coming Sunday. But this Atlanta Falcons game now is an opportunity to take a road game and feel some momentum and start to believe in yourself in terms of, no, this is who we are. This is not just what we did to the Bears week 1. So how are you feeling about this one? Before, you don't have to do predictions. We can shoot the bull about it for a little bit here.
The game with Atlanta this weekend?
Yeah.
I'm feeling good about it. I feel like it's going to be more of a challenge for us. I did watch the Falcons-Panthers game from last weekend, and those teams, they're average. They're just so average. And two average teams playing together, you never know how to gauge that. Like,
Right.
are they good? Is so-and-so
Sure.
good, or they're just playing an average team? So I thought that, one big thing takeaway from that game was Atlanta did not have a passing game.
At all.
At all. I mean, they
No.
didn't mention their wide receivers at all.
Were they on the bench drinking Gatorade?
They
They
must
didn't
have
even
been.
need to be on the
Where
field.
are
There was
your
nothing
wide
there.
receivers, Atlanta?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
understand, because you had Algier, running back out there.
Oh,
You
he
had-
was amazing.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Yeah.
Bijan
Bijan.
Robinson,
Who is
rookie,
even better.
even better.
And more multiple and very dangerous.
Let me
Yeah.
see. I have stats somewhere. I mean, it was bonker. I mean, Bijan Robinson had a great day, and then you had Pitts, who's their tight end, and those were the only three
Yeah.
players. I watched the game twice, you guys, because I was like, after the first time, I was like,
Sweet football girl.
did I miss
Yeah.
the wide receivers?
Yeah.
Like, where were they? And they were
Yeah.
not anywhere to be seen.
I got a pen to circle them, but
I was
nothing.
ready. I had the
There's just
roster
no one there.
open. Like, I was like
Wow.
waiting for
Yep.
names. Nothing. It was Algier and then Robinson, to Algier to
Pitts,
Robinson,
yep.
and then to Pitts.
Yep.
Maybe once or twice.
Uh-huh.
But so that's going to be something I guess we're going to have to look for, because
Well, it's not going to get any easier against the Green Bay Packers with Jair Alexander out there. Rasul Douglas with a fantastic pass breakup on the play after Lucas Van Ness, who may be mentioned by someone later in this podcast, makes the amazing, Justin Fields play. It's not going to get any easier. Our DBs are pretty dang good, and Carolina's defense played a pretty vanilla style, in my opinion.
yes.
Both of these both the Carolina, with Bryce Young, of course, and Desmond Ridder. This is against the Packers, will only be his 6th game, so they're fairly similar in that regard. I think that's an opportunity for Green Bay right now.
Sure.
And then we talked about last week, every team in the North playing every team in the South. These games matter now, because we know you can kind of one up some of the other teams if they were to happen to go down. But you're right, I think it's going to be a bigger challenge. So are you, basically the Packers against Justin Fields did a good job stopping the run, but we have
Yes.
historically struggled a little bit. Do you see the potential for a setback or maybe a regression to the mean, shall we say, in this game? You got to travel.
Well, the big difference is that with the Bears, your only runner is your quarterback.
Right.
Should he be a running back?
He was one of the best in the league last year. Yeah, maybe he should.
So you've got one weapon. The
Yeah.
Bears are going up, you're going
He's
up
not a throwing back.
no, he's not. But when you're going against the Bears, you're going against one running back. That's Justin Fields. When you're going against Atlanta,
That's a good point.
you're going against two really good running backs, and maybe potentially a good tight end in Pitts. I don't know. We'll see if he gets more play time. But you've got more weapons, I guess, that you're playing against.
Right, and I think too the way they use them very multiply. They'll take Bijan Robinson and they'll put him in the slot. They'll move guys around. They really want to be multiple. Plus, we didn't go over this during injuries, but they may get Cordell Patterson back again, who they've got listed as a running back, but the guy could be a wide receiver or a returner. He can do it all. So yeah, definitely, I think they're going to have to do more than just make the quarterback play quarterback in this game.
I think Ritter didn't look great under pressure. I think that's a bonus for us. I think we can throw the sink at them, as you sometimes say.
Yes.
Throw the kitchen sink at him. If we can pressure him, I think he will fall apart. I mean, I think he's just.
After you play Justin Fields, the escapability of Justin Fields is just off the charts. That's all there is to it. He is a dangerous guy at the quarterback position with his ability to run, but not so with Ritter. Yeah.
My concern with Atlanta
all right.
is Jesse Bates,
safety.
He was.
What do you have, two picks?
2 picks. He was Good Morning Football on Mondays second. He was their number 2 DB for the week, just behind Whitehead from the Jets, who had 3 interceptions.
Yeah. A hat trick of interceptions. This is how bad Josh Allen was, along with the fumble. My word.
Bates could be a problem for our wide receivers. I mean, he could. He picked off 2 of them in that game last weekend against the Panthers, and he's fast. He's quick. He just has the ability to get there. And
you have a nose. Like there's at safety. Like if you have a nose for the ball, it tends to be in harm's way.
So he could be an issue for us, especially if we can't rely on our running game like we did last week. If Jones is out, like if we have to rely on Musgrave or because Dobbs is a veteran, but I hope.
And he showed out.
He did show out.
But now that when the Packers come without Christian Watson, you got to take care of Romeo Dobbs.
Absolutely.
And what are you going to do? You shade a safety to him. And if you got a good one, that can be dangerous. One thing I noticed, I saw at least 2 balls and I know Pro Football Focus tagged him for this, that Jordan Love put in harm's way that were badly thrown. You had the inside throw on the long ball. I think that was to Dobbs. That might have been to Samori Toure.
Yeah.
And that one, I don't know if it faded in on him, if it caught the wind or what. But that was a dangerous one, and he had another dangerous ball. So to your point, there are definitely things. I'm really happy they won, but there are definitely things that need to be cleaned up.
If he throws those balls again this week, he might get picked.
Yeah.
They're going to be looking at Bates. They're going to be, watching him and making sure that they try to keep the ball away from him.
Yeah. And I think the O-line has a tougher test this week, too. Calais Campbell I still have nightmares about Calais Campbell this was the year that the Cardinals went to the Super Bowl with the Steelers, and the Steelers won in that amazing last-minute drive in the Super Bowl. But I think it was Calais Campbell that obvious face mask on Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers fumbles the ball, takes it in for a touchdown, and they win the game in overtime after we scored. There was like a 90-point score in that game. It was 40-something to 40-something. So a tougher test. I really love this offensive line, and I think they are taking it personal that this is Jordan Love's first year to start. So I am going to be looking for consistency, but then also to continue the communication against an Atlanta Falcons team that I think is going to throw that kitchen sink. I mean, the Bears did a lot less than I kind of expected. I thought that's where the Bears' strength in their defense could be, is in creativity and trying to make things happen with those new linebackers. I didn't see a lot. But this week will be a good one again to get that kind of like boost of, no, this isn't just what we did week 1. This is who we are kind of a thing. And I believe in them. I believe that's who they are. Led by David Bakhtiari, who looked fantastic and did not practice.
Having fun.
Doesn't need to.
He looked like he was having fun.
Which is good for him. His buddy Aaron Rodgers moves on to the Jets, so yeah, I think this is going to be a tougher test. I don't know. You got a prediction on this one? You ready to roll out on that, or you wanna do the line on it?
Talk about the line is close. I mean, it's a 1-point spread. I think it's Packers +1, so they don't have us favored to win this. Over-unders 40.5. I think I'm going to take the spread. I think I'm going to take the Packers +1.
Okay.
I think we have a chance to win this one.
Okay. Yeah, I think this will be closer too. I mean, get a fast start. This was the first opening drive touchdown we had, or opening drive touchdown that we had. We had like 2 of them last season, and Jordan Love walks out and we have a fast start. There's a couple things I think he needs to clean up. I talked about moving into trouble, and he did that. The one sack he took was on him. He had a wide open grass to the right, and it happened fast. But you got to clean that up. And then those danger balls, I got the Packers in this one, even though, and we are going to, one of us is going to be ahead in our preseason picks, because I have to admit, I said loss. I so wait for you to have that. Be all, the office, be all smudge about it.
Smudge, yeah.
There's the smudgeness. So one of us is going to be ahead, and honestly, I think it's going to be you. I think the Packers, I think this is going to be closer. You can't expect 38 points, I wouldn't think, in this one. If they do, great.
Yeah.
But yeah, have a fast start, clean up some errors on Jordan Love's part, and I think our defense is for real. I think we'll be fine. I've got the Packers 24-21 in this one. So.
Okay, I like that score.
Yeah, that would be, that could be a
It makes me a little
piggyback.
nervous to take the over on it, though, at 40 points, because I don't know. We're not playing prime time, right? It's not a prime time game. So,
No.
guys, I think the prime time overs are dead.
Dead? Okay, there's your advice.
All those prime time games this past,
Oh.
except for Dallas. Well,
How
Dallas.
about, and now the
Got their
Jets
own.
have like 6 more primetime games. The
Smooth.
NFL had Aaron Rodgers on the Jets and scheduled accordingly.
Yeah.
And you could have Zach Wilson for all of those games. Congratulations, Aaron. I know you'll love it.
It's going to suck.
It is going to suck.
Last year's primetime games sucked, too.
Yeah. And the Thursday game, we were decrying the Thursday games. I think that one, it wasn't the most exciting game, but I think that delivered. Like,
Right.
tonight now, too, I think, at least Packers fans' perspective, we got Vikings-Eagles. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be great to watch. The Vikings.
Vikings are going to get murdered tonight.
Vikings are going to get destroyed.
They're going to get destroyed.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. And I'm no Eagles fan. as
Shout out
everyone
my
who
friend
listens to me.
Danielle, who's at the game tonight.
Oh, yeah?
That
Is this
little-
one in Philly?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's a big Philly fan, so she and her brother drove up for the game tonight.
Okay. I've got former in-laws that live in Philly, just north in Ivyland, just north of there.
Yeah.
I'd like to go there, but if I went as a Packer fan, I would fear for my life. I think,
Sure.
At this point.
I don't know what the spread is, but I'm guessing it's like 7 points.
Is it? Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Well, I mean,
it's
after they
Eagles
lose to the
minus
Bucks,
7.
yeah.
Probably.
All right, Rookie of the Week, and let's talk first, because I think we need to do a little of this to ourselves, right? We talked about last week. Obviously, you can't pick a Rookie of the Week. There were no games, but we talked about who we were excited to watch, and I'm gonna do a mea culpa here and say, because I straight out predicted. Well, 2 things. One, I was right. Fumbled snap. Okay, I was right, and that ended up being a huge game. So no skin off my nose. And a missed PAT. And Aaron, on the other hand, who did you pinpoint for your rookie you had
I
your
took Carlson as my rookie.
I know.
I'm really glad I did.
And-
He's my guy.
And I think you basically said, I think they got this ironed out. I think he's going to be fine when everybody else was panicking.
I think he can be. I think he's got to get his legs under him. He's new. He's a rookie, and there's a lot of pressure on him. But as last week's game showed, he did pretty damn well.
He did pretty damn
He
well.
did pretty damn
And
well.
let's recap. Okay, how this happened too, because the Bears mishandled the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
The Packers mishandled the 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Jordan Love takes a sack, which is the absolute last thing you can do. You have to
Yeah.
get rid of the ball.
Before halftime, the second quarter, we've got a minute and a half left. He takes a sack. Reed gets us in field goal range. And then somebody's just not paying attention to the clock.
We're just mismanaging it.
It's 4 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah.
And finally, they take a timeout?
Yeah.
Just
And
in
so how
time.
long does this?
Just in time. 4 seconds for my man to hit a 52-yarder.
A
And he
fifth-
did.
And it would have been good from like outside the stadium.
Sure.
I mean, that
Oh.
thing was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Right down the middle too.
Right down the
okay?
middle.
So,
Yeah.
well, you put
I'm
your finger
proud
on
of
that.
him.
All right.
Is he gonna, be consistent? I hope. Time will tell. But
Okay.
we live to see another week of me on the bandwagon.
And I mean, with kickers, it can change so fast too.
Sure.
But there couldn't really be a whole lot more pressure for him.
Sure.
It's the Bears. It's in Soldier Field. That crowd was lit still. They were not deflated yet.
Right.
Outdoors, and first game.
I can't remember what the score was, but it was close. I feel like it was
Yeah.
a close score at that point.
Yeah, I think we went up. What did we go up? 10-7 at that
10
point,
to
or
7.
something. 10 to
So
6,
we
maybe it
entered
was.
halftime with some points on the board, and then we got the ball, to start the
Yeah.
next half. So
You-
it was good momentum. It's a good momentum.
Great momentum. You love to double down. You love to get those points on the way into the locker room, and then have the ball coming out at the half. That's
Yeah.
about as good as he made that half pretty picture perfect. Even though it was the first half was the part that was not picture perfect in a lot of ways.
Right.
Jordan Love, et cetera, et cetera. The second half much better, but that, and you could perhaps say that's kind of a turning point. They weren't
Sure.
playing that good. Well, we have to
I'm
now
going
because
to. I'm going to.
yeah. All right, rookie of the week. Now we can do a real rookie of the week, which I'm
Okay.
really excited about. We get to pick, one of the rookies that we had our eye on, one of the rookies that just made another play, a play to whatever their overall performance, whatever you want to talk about. Let's go with you first, Aaron. Rookie of the week. Who's your guy?
I might steal your guy. My rookie of the week is Lucas Van Ness.
I knew this was going to
He
happen.
looked so good.
I wish
He
I
looked
gave it
so
to my
good.
son.
I mean,
yeah.
how many guys in his position are able to take down Fields in that sack? I mean,
Even catch up with
he's-
him. Even, yeah.
yeah, he just right on pace with him. He played it smart, I thought, and yeah, he's just fast, and
Yeah.
and Fields is fast too. I mean,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Fields
And-
had the fastest court QB time in the 40 for like 15 years. Like a
and
4,
just
4,
the
4.
way he tracked him
Mm-hmm.
was just so smart, because if he does it any other way, it's
Yeah.
would you say he's eating turf? I
Yeah,
mean,
he's gonna be picking turf out of his face mask.
100%.
And it started with him being aware to me. One of the things I was really high on him about was coming out of Iowa, he's going to have a high football intelligence. That play was designed to suck in the edge so that, and I don't know if it was a run pass option, there's some discussion about that, but you got a guy like Fields, and once he gets the edge, he's just going to gash you. And that was my favorite play he had a sack, he had 5 pressures, whatever.
I think
That was my
Fields
favorite.
thought he had him.
Yeah.
I really do. I think Fields thought he had him and was going to beat him
Little-
to the edge. And Lucas said, nope.
Mm-hmm.
Got both on. And the way he took him down.
Oh, yeah, and just rolled him over,
both
smacked
arms
him out of
around
bounds.
him and
Yeah.
just full body
yeah.
just threw him down.
Yeah.
And I loved it.
Yeah.
It wasn't a wimpy old.
Oh, he
tackle.
alligator rolled him.
He
Yeah, he
did.
alligator rolled him. Yeah. So it was a thing of beauty. Thank you for stealing that. Now I have nothing to say.
Sorry. You can't have him every week. I'm sorry. There's so many rookies. You got to give somebody else a chance.
We got to give somebody else a chance. But good call. I
Thank
really
you.
think that was a very good call.
Yeah.
I got Jaden Reed, who did not have a fantastic overall stat line in this game,
Sure.
but he had the nice 30-yarder. He showed some ability after the catch, had to come back for the ball a little bit. The ball was not perfectly placed.
Yeah.
Had it been perfectly placed, he may have had a chance at a touchdown in that one with Reed's speed. But to some extent, too, I just want to call attention to the fact that while Matt LaFleur needs to get ballet lessons for Musgrave and A.J. Dillon, 2-2 is optional, but the class itself is mandatory.
Yeah.
Jaden Reed needs to get helmet sized. He lost his helmet twice in this, not once, but twice. He was AJ hawking that helmet. It was flying all over. I call attention to it, though, too, because that first one, I think it was the first one, he got jacked in the face.
Yeah.
Right up under the face mask. The mask goes flying off, and the refs pick up the flag.
Mm-hmm.
And then Olsen and who is it? The guy that they bring up from the reffing crew.
I don't know.
I should remember his name. I remembered it earlier. Anyway, I don't care. They both side with the refs and saying that they think it was in the head or it was in the shoulder area that he made contact. And I'm going, how does his helmet fly off? If you
Right.
hit him in the chest plate?
Right.
It doesn't.
Yeah. They were
So-
making the argument that he was going to
And
punch
that
the
was
ball out.
true. That is true. He
Yeah.
was going to a receiver who had gone up, but it was just like. So anyway, kudos to Rook for not losing a tooth, number one.
Yeah.
But keep your helmet on and great play. It showed me that we can, I think, expect good things out of Jaden Reed, which we
think so.
saw in, Lucas Van Ness, on the other hand, you didn't see a whole lot in training camp. You didn't really know what you were going to get. Him shining, I think, was a really nice surprise. Jaden Reed, on the other hand, we were very excited about, and then with Watson out, he had to play. Didn't have a huge production. He maybe only had that one catch, but a 30-yarder and showing what he can do after the catches.
Well, he got us in field goal range
Field goal
at
range
the
too.
end
Yeah,
of the
that's
first
right.
half.
Yep, that's
so
right.
if he doesn't do that, maybe we go into halftime with a tied game.
Yeah.
So
If we had to kick that from 65 yards, Anders might not have been able to make it.
I think he would have.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, but Reed would have been my backup choice. I mean, if Venice didn't, get that sack and didn't play so well, then Reed was, number 2 on my list for this week.
Yeah, with a good game. It didn't look like it was too big for him in a lot of ways. I'm sure there's a lot of stuff, you look at the tape, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff he needs to clean up, but that's why you play those games to some extent. But he looks like the training camp and preseason were by no means wasted on him. The game isn't too big for him. So all in all, a great week of football. It's so good to have it back. Number one.
I love it.
Yeah. And I don't know where you're at, but here the evenings are getting a little cooler.
I know.
The sun is getting a little more golden, not quite as straight on, and it feels a little bit like football weather.
I bought some chili this week, you guys.
Oh.
It's not
You didn't bring any?
It's not quite chili season, but I'm ready for it.
Ready for it.
I'm already there. I'm thinking about quitting my job so I can just watch football full time.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a good idea. I think
it's
you
a
should
great
follow
idea.
through that. Yeah. And to me, chili season can be predicated on weather, but also can be predicated on football. I have no
absolutely.
problem with that. Yeah. For
Yeah.
sure. I might need to make some.
Chili on the first snap. Let's go.
Chili on the first snap. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will close it up with that. Thank you for joining us, by the way. And we will be getting, recall if you didn't catch last week's episode, we have Ask Us Anything, where you can ask us any football question,
Anything.
anything, I guess. Some of them we might not answer. But we will be posting if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on the Facebook page, I'll be posting that email available. And also then later on, just make sure you're keeping track of those secret words, which is this week. Pick six. Yeah. So hopefully we get another one of those coming up next week. Hopefully we get Quay Walker back. It'd be good to see Christian Watson. Aaron Jones is a dynamo. And Jordan Love, so far, so dang good. I don't think we can complain about a whole lot, to be honest. So,
Nope.
Any closing thoughts, Aaron? Just glad football's back.
I'm so ready for
what is it?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock tonight
We're
for
about
us. We're in
3
Eastern.
hours. We're
Yeah.
about 3.5 hours away
Yeah.
from kickoff. So.
Are you going to have more chili?
Yeah, probably.
I know I'm going to have something. I just don't know what it is yet. But I am going to watch the Vikings go down, is what I'm hoping to watch. So
Yeah.
that'll put the Packers right up there with the Detroit Lions, which is exactly what we want. Of course, they have to
where we wanna be.
succeed. Exactly, right. We're in good position to get some momentum going.
Sure.
You want to start this first quarter well, and a win against Atlanta, I think, would go a long way. I really do. If I'm looking at the South, they might be a team they're an improved team, and they're a dangerous team, as we mentioned. So,
But if anything, I want a division that's tough.
yeah.
I don't want us to just float to the top with
Yeah.
nobody to compete.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I don't ever want us
And
to
I would
lose,
love
but-
to go head to head with the Lions. I mean, come on.
Oh,
Dan
week 4 is
Campbell.
coming.
Oh
Week
my
4
gosh.
is coming.
I'm
it's
excited.
It's at Lambeau. The first
ready,
game.
guys.
Yeah, I can't wait for that one. I will just quickly mention I will be doing another video called Packer Nation Playbook. So I will be talking about the Atlanta Falcons game, going a little deeper, just because I can't get it out of my
You got
system.
to.
Football's
He's
back.
just got to.
All right. And football's back, and so will we be next week.
Yeah.
Pretty much same pack time, same pack place. Hopefully trying to post these up on Friday for you for
Yeah.
your commute and or coming home on a weekend and Saturday. So, all right, thanks a lot for joining us, guys. We will catch you next time. Go Pack.
Go Pack.